Hello, my name is Jerry, and today I'm going to be teaching a concept in pre-algebra called multiplication and division, but with powers of 10. Now, and again, I am from Ed Equity. We're an organization that hopes to provide children with free education. And anyways, let's get started. So, we already know obviously what multiplication and division is. They're just multiplying, dividing numbers. We learned that in middle school, and now we will need to learn multiplication and division with an addition of powers of 10. So, what is a power of 10? So for example, 2 times 10 to the second power is something to the power of 10, because 2 times 10 squared is 2 times 100, which is 200. So which means that 200 is 10 squared times 2, which means the power of 10. And this is actually called scientific notation, which is something that is very useful for future courses where the numbers are either really small, like the mass of an electron, or really big, like the mass of the sun or the speed of light. But at the pre-algebra level, we'll just call it powers of 10, and we're going to learn simple arithmetics with powers of 10. So let's jump into the first question. 4 times 10 to the 6th power is how many times as large as 1 times 10 to the power of 4? So, how do we do this question? So, normally, let's just say this number is 6, right? So let's change this number to 2 so it's easier to understand. So 6 is how many times as large as 2? Well, we all know the answer to that is 3, but how do we get there? We divided 6 by 2. 6 divided 2 is 3. So 6 is how many times as large as 2? We would just divide 6 by 2. So 4 times 10 to the 6th power is how many times as large as 1 times 10 to the 4th power? Well, we will just divide them, like we did with 6 and 2. So 4 times 10 to the power of 6 divided by 1 times 10 to the power of 4. Now let's separate this. Let's separate it into 4 over 1 times 10 over 6. 10 to the power of 6 over 10 to the power of 4. Now 4 over 1 is just 4. And now 10 to the power of 6 over 10 to the power of 4. Now remember, in our previous video on the exponent properties, we learned that if a power is dividing a power, then it is a subtraction relationship. So in reality, this will be 4 times 10 to the power of 6 minus 4, which is 10 to the power of 2. So the answer is 4 times 10 to the power of 2. So 4 times 10 to the power of 6 is 4 times 10 to the power of 2 as large as 1 times 10 to the power of 4. Now I know that was a bit complicated, so let's try with a few more practice questions. 2 times 10 to the power of negative 6 times 6 times 10 to the power of 7 equals what? So now let's do the same thing here. Let's do 2 times 6, right? Let's do the constants first, then the powers of 10. So 2 times 6 times 10 to the negative 6 times 10 to the power of 7. Now 2 times 6 is 12. Now 10 to the negative 6 times 10 to the 7th power. Remember, from our exponent properties again, when exponents are multiplying each other, they're in addition relationship. So if 10 times negative 10 to the power of 6, negative 6 times 10 to the power of 7 is basically 10 to the power of negative 6 plus 7. And negative 6 plus 7 is 1, so 2 times 10 to the power of negative 6 times 10 to the power of 7 is 12 times 10 to the power of 1, which is just 10. let's try a few more problems. 9 times 10 to the power of 7 is how many times as large as 3 times 10 to the power of 3? Again, let's divide these two numbers. And let's separate the front and the back. And 9 over 3 is just 3. 10 to the power of 7 divided by 10 to the power of 3 is 10 to the power of 4. So 9 times 10 to the power of 7 is 3 times 10 to the power of 4 as large as 3 times 10 to the power of 3. Let's try another problem. Negative 3 times 10 to the power of 3 times 4 times 10 to the power of 6. Now, I'll give you some time to do this question, so pause this video if you want to. And now let's do this. So negative 3 times 4 times 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 6. That'll give me negative 3 times 4, negative 12. 10 times 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 6, that's 10 to the power of 9, because 3 plus 6 is 9. So the answer is negative 12 times 10 to the power of 9. Let's do 2 more questions, okay? 6 times 10 to the power of negative 2 is how many times as large as 2 times 10 to the power of negative 8? So again, let's divide this. Separate it. 6 over 2, that is 3. 10 to the power of negative 2 over 10 to the power of negative 8. We'll have to do negative 2 minus negative 8, and negative is positive, so it's negative 2 plus 8, which is 6. So 3 times 10 to the power of 6. So that means 6 times 10 to the power of negative 2 is 3 times 10 to the power of 6 times as large as 2 times 10 to the power of negative 8. Let's do one last problem for today. Negative 8 times 10 to the power of 7 over negative 4 times 10 to the power of 6 equals what? Now this is the same thing as saying negative 8 times 10 to the power of 7 is how many times as large as negative 4 times 10 to the power of 6. And we just divide them like we did in this question over here, right? So negative 8, let's divide it into negative 8 over negative 4 times 10 to the power of 7, or the over 10 to the power of 6. So negative 8 over negative 4 is just 2, and 10 to the power of 7 over 10 to the power of 6 is just 10. So 2 times 10 is the answer. And that is it for today's video. So we learned how to do multiplication and division with powers of 10. You just simply have to separate the constants and do them separately. And for multiplication, it is the same thing. And always remember your exponent properties, because they're important. They're an important concept to know in order to solve this kind of problem. And that's it for today. I hope you learned something from this video. Be sure to check out our website at equity.org for more free content like websites, like worksheets, free worksheets and quizzes for you to do, and more videos that are all for free. And anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.